We reunite with the actors of The Little Rascals, a childhood classic that captivated millions. We'll reveal the newest exploits of these once cherubic faces that charmed us on film. From Alfalfa's newest musical endeavors to Darla's rise as an entrepreneur, we explore how Spanky has innovated Hollywood filmmaking. Buckwheat and Porky have become philanthropists and innovators, while Petey the Dog's legacy continues to touch hearts. We relive the influence of a film that defined a generation and see how its actors have grown beyond the screen. Each narrative celebrates childlike wonder and bygone paradises. Billy Buckwheat Thomas. March 12, 1931, saw the birth of William Thomas Jr. in Los Angeles. Thomas debuted as a background performer in the 1934 Our Gang cartoons. Carlina, the younger sister of Matthew Stymie Beard, played the role of the first Buckwheat, a female. However, Buckwheat's persona gradually changes to that of a boy. With his speech impediment and everything, Thomas portrayed Buckwheat at the beginning as a female dressed as the conventional African-American pickaninny. He donned enormous boots, a giant hand-me-down cardigan, and bent pigtails. In the years to come, the representation would be considered very contentious. What happened to Buckwheat? Following his departure from the program, Thomas joined the U.S. Army at the age of only 23. He was honorably released from active service along with a Good Conduct Medal and a National Defense Service Medal. Thomas chose a behind-the-scenes position as a Technicolor film lab technician, despite being somewhat in demand for theatrical and movie parts. 46 years to the day after his mother had taken him to an audition at Hal Roach Studios, he passed away from a heart attack in his Los Angeles residence on October 10, 1980. George Spanky McFarland. Dallas was the place of George Robert Phillips McFarland's birth on October 2, 1928. McFarland modeled children's clothes at a Dallas department store before joining Our Gang. In addition, he was well known for appearing in Wonder Bread newspaper ads and billboards on Dallas's highways. McFarland was cast as Spanky when his Aunt Dottie answered a Hal Roach Studios post for pictures of cute kids. His mother gave him the moniker by advising him not to misbehave at Roach's office. His mother often told him Spanky mustn't touch, since he had a propensity to grasp objects. He was subsequently lovingly referred to as Spanky in the show and served as the president of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. What happened to Spanky? McFarland enlisted in the U.S. Air Force at 24 after quitting show business. Like William Thomas, he struggled to break out of the Spanky image and took odd jobs at a popsicle factory, a hamburger stand, and a soft drink plant. He started talking a lot about his time on The Little Rascals. In the opening scene of the Cheers episode, Woody Gets an Election, he played himself in his last broadcast appearance in 1993. He passed away from a heart attack in June of that same year. He was 64 years old. In January 1994, he received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame as a posthumous award. Matthew Stymie Beard. On January 1, 1925, Matthew Beard Jr. was born in Los Angeles. Before agreeing to a 5-year deal to portray Stymie in Our Gang, Beard was cast in several movies as a baby. The character's initial name was Hercules, but Our Gang director Robert McGowan renamed him Stymie since young Beard's inquisitive wonderings about the studio would constantly stymie him. His distinctive feature was his bald head, topped off with an enormous derby hat. Comedian Stan Laurel, who had previously worked with Our Gang founder Hal Roach, gave him the hat. Beard departed the show at the young age of 10, although he went on to get a few small parts in feature films, including Captain Blood, 1935, and The Return of Frank James, 1940, co-starring with Jackie Cooper, another former member of Our Gang and another child star. He had given up acting by the time he was in high school. What happened to Stymie? Sadly, Beard subsequently developed a heroin addiction. However, he was able to turn his life around, and following his rehabilitation, he made guest appearances on Sanford and Son and The Jeffersons, as well as a recurring role as Monty on Good Times. In 1978, he appeared in The Buddy Holly Story, playing a member of the Apollo Theater backstage crew while sporting his signature bowler hat. Beard continued to give talks on drug usage awareness while remaining sober. He suffered a brain injury after falling down a flight of stairs on January 3, 1981, and 5 days later, he passed away from pneumonia. He was 56 years old. He was buried wearing the renowned derby hat he had worn since he was a stymie. Billy Froggy Laughlin. San Gabriel, California was the place of William Robert Laughlin's birth on July 5, 1932. When Laughlin joined our gang in 1940, he was 8 years old and well known. A moniker for Laughlin's character, Froggy, was created because of his peculiar guttural voice resembling a frog's croak. Laughlin performed the voice for himself. After Johnny Doesn't Live Here Anymore, 1944, and our gang's 1944 production ended, Laughlin stepped away from the entertainment industry to enjoy his adolescent years. What happened to Froggy? Laughlin was hit and killed by a speeding vehicle as he was out distributing newspapers on the back of his friend's bike close to his house in La Puente, California. August 31, 1948, was his death date. Just 2 weeks before the disaster, Laughlin's parents gave him the scooter. At only 16 years old, he became the youngest performer from our gang to pass away. Eugene Porky Lee. Eugene Lee was born in Fort Worth, Texas on October 25, 1933. The Lee family left Texas and went to Culver City, California. Hal Roach saw how much the 18-month-old child resembled the Texas-born star of our gang, Spanky McFarland. Consequently, Lee, who the studio gave the moniker Porky, was cast to play Spanky's younger brother. Early in 1939, 5-year-old Lee outgrew 10-year-old McFarland thanks to a growth spurt. Robert Blake, as Mickey Gubitosi, took his position. What happened to Porky? After retiring, Lee worked as an alternative education teacher at Colorado's Broomfield High School. To escape his acting career, he adopted the name Gordon Lee after his beloved Our Gang director, Gordon Douglas. He lost his fight with brain and lung cancer on October 16, 2005, at the age of 71. Mickey Gubitosi. Robert Blake, whose real name is Michael James Gubitosi, was born in Nutley, New Jersey on September 18, 1933. When Blake's family relocated to Los Angeles in 1938, the children started working as movie extras. In 1936, Blake's parents started a song and dance performance with his 3 siblings, billed as the Three Little Hillbillies. Blake's breakthrough role came at 9 when he took Porky's place as Mickey in The Little Rascals. Later, he developed into Spanky's closest buddy and eventually took over as group leader. Additionally, he appeared in the Red Ryder film series as a kid actor. What happened to Mickey? Robert Blake, an Italian from New Jersey, was cast as a Native American or Latino character in several previous adult roles. Blake returned to acting after serving in the Army and gained notoriety as an undercover police officer in the TV show Beretta. After his wife passed away, he had nothing but a difficult existence, living for the greater part of 10 years under the constant scrutiny of the authorities. Public sentiment against Blake remained unwavering even after he published a book titled Tales of a Rascal, What I Did for Love. Mickey Daniels. Mickey Daniels made 70 to 80 appearances on Hal Roach's original Our Gang shorts, making him one of the most frequent Rascals to do so between 1932 and 1935. According to IMDb, Daniels made $37 per week when he began the program and up to $175 per week, or more than $2,500 in today's currencies, when he departed, which indicates that he was enjoying a quite luxurious lifestyle. What happened to algebra? Regretfully, following the program, Daniels' career never really took off. He supposedly got married, got divorced, and had a daughter. However, in 1970, while working as a cab driver, he passed away alone in a hotel room. Petey the Dog. Pal, the Wonder Dog, was an American pit bull terrier who was the first Petey. In the Buster Brown series in the 1920s, Pal debuted as Tig. He developed the ring-eyed at this period. The circle was drawn by Maximilian Faktorowicz, who established Max Factor and Company in Los Angeles. Hal Roach went with the flow when he was brought in to star in the Our Gang comedy later that year, turning him into one of the most recognizable dogs in movie history. Hal sadly died after being poisoned in 1930. His children took on Petey's duties. For whatever reason, his eye circle shifted to his left eye. What happened to Petey? The dog's owner, Lucin, retired to Atlantic City after being sacked from Our Gang. He died on January 28, 1946, at the age of 16, the same age as Billy Froggy Laughlin. Petey is an American bulldog in the 1994 feature film adaptation of The Little Rascals. Maryanne Jackson. Jackson was one of the most well-liked female characters in Our Gang in the 1930s. She often played Weezer's elder sister. Her hairdo was bobbed, and she had a tomboyish demeanor. She began appearing in the series in 1928, coinciding with the end of the silent period, and departed at the age of 8 in 1931. What happened to Maryanne Jackson? Later in life, Jackson gave up acting to work at department shops and attend parties with her sister. She passed away from a heart attack in 2003, although she had happy recollections of her childhood as a little mischievous. Darla Hood. Darla Hood was born in Leedy, Oklahoma on November 8, 1931. She was first taught to sing and dance by her mother. They traveled to New York for her 3rd birthday to achieve fame and wealth in the arts. Her casting director for the Hal Roach Studios shorts Our Gang was Joe Rivkin. Because she was often the focus of Waldo, Butch, and Alfalfa's adoration, Carla is mostly recognized for her coquettishness. What happened to Darla? Hood continued her high school education, where she founded a singing ensemble named the Enchanters after outgrowing Our Gang. Her last movie part, The Bat, came in 1959 when Rivkin, who had first seen her as a youngster, hired her. Alongside Agnes Moorehead and Vincent Price, she portrayed a secretary in the film, her first and only adult role. Even after all those years, the Little Rascals never left her. She had an appendectomy while working hard to plan the 1980 Little Rascals reunion for the Sons of the Desert chapter in Los Angeles. She did not survive. On June 13, 1979, at the age of 47, she passed away unexpectedly from heart failure. Carl Alfalfa Switzer. Carl Dean Switzer was born in Paris, Illinois, on August 7, 1927. Because of their musical abilities, he and his brother Harold became famous in their community. As chance would have it, the Switzer family took a sightseeing excursion to Hal Roach Studios, the location of the Little Rascals, during their 1934 vacation to California. Following the tour, 8-year-old Harold and 6-year-old Carl had lunch at the Our Gang Cafe, where they started an unplanned show. By coincidence, Roach was there and was so thrilled that he signed them both right then and there. Carl was nicknamed Alfalfa, which became the Alfalfa character eventually. What happened to Alfalfa? He was the victim of typecasting and had trouble landing parts after quitting the series in 1940. He made cameo appearances in B-movies and small roles as an adult. After quitting the entertainment industry, he started a dog breeding company and worked as a hunting guide. Switzer was shot and died in January 1959 after getting into a confrontation with someone over $50 and a hunting dog. Dorothy Deborba. In Pups is Pups, Dorothy Deborba joined the cast of Our Gang in 1930. She is most known for the extravagant hairstyles and bows she wore on the show. She is also most known for being mischievous and for hilariously imitating the lines of other characters, a skill that earned her the moniker Ekko. What happened to Ekko? After producing 24 images, Deborba departed the project in 1933. After completing her high school education, she started working as a clerk. 2010 saw her pass away from emphysema after giving birth to 2 children. Brandon Bug Hall as Alfalfa. Born in Fort Worth, Texas on February 4, 1985, Brandon Hall, also known by his parents' nickname, Bug, was raised there. The role he played as Alfalfa in the 1994 movie The Little Rascals is what made him most famous. For the part, Hall was awarded a Young Artist Award for Best Performance by a Youth Ensemble in a Motion Picture. The Little Rascals came next, and then much more praise. Hal played Eddie Munster in the Fox telefilm The Munsters' Scary Little Christmas, for which he was nominated in 1996 for a Young Star Award for Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Made-for-TV Movie. Hall is the director of many well-known Disney movies, such as Get a Clue, Honey, and We Shrunk Ourselves. Josephina Joy is his daughter, born in 2017 to him and Jill DeGroff. Britney Ashton Holmes as Darla. Britney Ashton Holmes was born in California on February 27, 1989. Similar to Travis Tedford, Holmes' first Hollywood role was in Darla. Her career took off, and she was cast in Red Shoe Diaries and made many guest appearances on Ellen. After that, she appeared in several made-for-TV films, including Humanoids from the Deep, 1996. Her recent on-screen appearance was in the 2014 film We Hate Paul Revere. Ross Baggley as Buckwheat. On December 5, 1988, Ross Elliott Baggley was born in Wisconsin Dells. In the 1994 motion picture The Little Rascals, Baggley played Buckwheat. Although we're not sure how the audition went, we can guarantee that the actor needed to be able to utter, "Oh, Tay." Baggley is remembered for his 1994 to 1996 stint on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Will Smith's cousin, Nicholas "Nicky" Banks. Afterward, he would again work with Smith, portraying his son Dylan on Independence Day, 1996. Kevin Jamal Woods as Stymie. In The Little Rascals, 1994, Kevin Jamal Woods played Stymie and wore the iconic derby hat. His last on-screen role was in TheBrainiacs.com in 2000. Before that, Woods voiced one of Fly and Rex's pups in the 1995 Oscar-nominated picture Babe and had a regular part on Blossom as Frank. Travis Tedford as Spanky. Travis William Tedford was born in Rockwall, Texas on August 19, 1988. Tedford's first job, if you don't consider becoming Welch's first child spokesman when he was 5, was as Spanky, replacing George McFarland, who was also from Texas. It would be another 4 years before he made another screen appearance, first in the TV series The Pretender, and then in Slappy and the Stinkers, 1998. He also contributed extra voices to the 1998 film A Bug's Life. The Final was the name of his 2010 final motion picture. The story revolves around high school geeks who want to get vengeance on those who tormented them. Speaking about education, he received an associate's degree in liberal arts from Trinity Valley Community College 2 years before. Currently, he resides in Garland, Texas. Zachary Mabery as Porky. Zachary Mabery was born in Plano, Texas on January 19, 1990. When he portrayed Porky, Spanky's sibling, he was only 4 years old. It was the final part he ever played. He chose a more typical childhood over performing, ultimately enrolling in the University of Oklahoma. Nonetheless, he has more than 4,000 Twitter followers, suggesting he is very active there. He is a self-described frequent tweeter and independent certified public accountant. Additionally, he is the weekly radio presenter for Roman Circus Radio. Blake McGyver Ewing as Waldo. In the years afterward, Blake McGyver Ewing, who portrayed Waldo in the 1994 movie, has regularly worked in both TV and movies. He voiced Eugene, the cartoon character, on Hey Arnold, and played Derek, Michelle's buddy, in a regular role on Full House. However, McGyver Ewing has dedicated much of his adult creative inventiveness to his music. He is a talented pianist, vocalist, and composer. In 2014, he put out his first album, The Time Manipulator. Right now, he co-hosts The People's Couch on Bravo. Olsen twins as unnamed twins. Given that the Olsen twins were the breakout stars of the TV series Full House in the late 1980s and early 1990s, they would make a brief cameo in a movie like The Little Rascals, filled with cameos. The Olsens had a brief cameo in the film as the twins who go nameless. The Olsen twins had a glamorized childhood, with everyone observing and questioning everything they did. As adults, they have both taken on a great deal of work, mostly in the upscale fashion sector. Jordan Workall as Froggy. Among the most charming rascals from the 1994 movie was little Froggy. It's difficult not to like him with his large, round spectacles and raspy voice. Jordan Warkhall is Froggy's true name. He spent much of the 1990s pursuing his acting career and appeared in shows including Judging Amy, The X-Files, and Seventh Heaven. Warkhall left acting sometime after 2000 and is mostly inactive on Twitter, although he is active there. By his admission, his voice has become less creepy. E.G. Daly as Froggy's voice. Hold on just a moment. Doesn't the boy's voice sound anything like that in real life? Elizabeth Daly, sometimes known as E.G., is credited with contributing part or all of Froggy's voice, according to IMDb. It's easy to see why, after reviewing her stellar resume. With most of her acting credentials coming from voice acting, Daly has been performing since the late 1970s and has over 200 acting credits. Her two most well-known performances have been as Buttercup in the enduring cartoon series The Powerpuff Girls and Babe in Babe, Pig in the City, 1998. Courtland Mead as Aha. Every tiny, mischievous person has a go-to joke, and Aha's was saying aha to almost everything. Courtland Mead portrayed the Rascal. When the Little Rascals debuted, Mead was only beginning his professional career. Following a year of appearances on the serial series The Young and the Restless, he landed a role in the 1997 television adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining. However, Mead could only get a few more engagements before quitting. He claimed to be a washed-up child star on his now-defunct MySpace profile. Raven Simone as Stymie's girlfriend. One more well-known child actress briefly appeared before the credits rolled in the Little Rascals movie, which was noted for its celebrity cameos. From her days on The Cosby Show, Raven Simone Christina Perriman was already well-known, with appearances on popular television programs including That's So Raven, State of Georgia, Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, and most recently, the highly acclaimed ABC sitcom Blackish. Perriman enjoyed a steady career in acting.